They came for him at dawn. 30 years of hiding couldn't outrun the shame. Now he knelt before orphans who wore the faces of soldiers he'd abandoned.
Train them, deserter, or we'll bury you beside the last squad you abandoned.
30 years, and the command still tightens my throat. I won't do it. I am not sending children to die in that hell.
Then you'll hang. A traitor's death, public and slow. The orphans will watch before they march.
One of them stepped forward, the girl with the squad leader's badge and fury in her eyes.
We don't need your pity, old man. We've already been sentenced. At least train us to die with a blade in hand.
She's already a soldier. Damn them for stealing her fear. Fine. I'll train you. But the nest isn't what they claim, and their methods will just get you killed faster.
The girl held his gaze, something unspoken passing between them. The orphans were watching. The marshals, smiling. The marshals withdrew, their boots a fading threat. Vane stood before the squad, his shadow stretching across the dirt like a sentence.
First lesson. Take off your armor. Plate, leather, all of it. You won't need it where you are going.
What kind of training is this? You want us to face a dragon in our bare skin?
There's no dragon in that nest. Just something far older, and armor makes you a louder target.
He pressed 2 fingers to his lips and let out a low, unbroken note. The air itself seemed to tighten.
No dragon? A sound? He's either mad or hiding something worse.
Just a shift in the pitch, and it stirred. That memory still lives in my bones.
For a moment, the yard fell away. 30 years younger, running through fog as a steel giant's eye blazed behind him. The echo of that metallic groan never left him. It was the sound of everything he'd abandoned. The orphans exchanged glances. Lyra's hand found the hilt of her sword, but her eyes stayed locked on the old man. That night, Vane gathered them in a hollow behind the barracks. No torches, no speaking, just the sound of his breath steadying.
This melody is older than the core. A lullaby, some say. But it's the only weapon that will matter where you are going. Hum with me.
A lullaby? He's hiding something, but the way his voice shakes. This isn't just a song.
From the shadows of the wall, Marshal Saren watched. Her eyes followed every note, every trembling cadet.
Desperate men don't teach lullabies. This is the key to whatever he's hiding.
An hour later, she found Caleb alone by the water barrels. His eyes were still wide from the melody's echo.
You heard it too, didn't you? That sound. It means something. The old man is planning something, and you are going to tell me everything.
I don't know anything. It's just humming. He said it's a lullaby.
Then you'll hum it for me. Every note. And if you miss one, those friends of yours won't even reach the nest.
Caleb watched her retreat, the melody already corroding his chest like rust. He was their spy now. Morning drills blurred into something stranger. Footwork paired with humming, forms executed in rhythm. The yard had become a throat.
You are sharp on the turn, but you drop the note there. The melody must be as constant as your heartbeat.
A heartbeat doesn't explain anything. Why won't you tell us what this is really for?
Because I was you, an orphan shoved into armor, told to die for a lie. I survived only by running. Is that the truth you wanted?
He's one of us. The same empty eyes, the same survival carved into his bones.
Caleb watched from the edge of the drill, his own notes catching in his throat. Every shared glance between them tightened the coil in his chest.
Just a few notes. I don't have to give her everything, just enough to keep them safe.
That afternoon, Vane paused mid-drill. Tomas had shifted the pitch just slightly, a detail only someone who'd heard the full lullaby would know to alter.
That's the 5th time. The melody isn't spreading through practice. Someone's feeding them. The marshals have a rat.
As dusk fell, Caleb slipped through the barracks door, a few hummed notes already burning on his tongue. The spy's path was wearing a groove in the stone. Before the next session, Vane fed them a false note. A sharp 2-beat bark, he claimed, would stun any beast. Poison laid for the rats.
He taught us a new cry tonight. 2 sharp notes. He said it would paralyze the nest's guardian.
A paralyzing scream. The man is lost in myth. There is no guardian, only a dying dragon and a coward's guilt.
But Vane heard his own lie echo back through the cracks. The rats were chewing the bait.
Now I'll tell you something real. The nest holds an ancient guardian, older than any dragon. The melody is a key, not a weapon.
An ancient guardian, and a key made of sound. He's trusting us, with more than a lullaby now.
From now on, we hum until your lungs burn, until the note is part of your blood. Because if you falter, that guardian will not sleep.
The training shed its cloak. No more whispers. They practiced in the open yard, their melody rising like smoke toward the command tower.
He's giving us everything. And I am still carrying his words to her. What kind of traitor steals a dead man's final song?
High above, Marshal Saren listened to the distant humming, but it sounded only like a prayer to her, no threat. She smiled. That night, Saren's shadow fell across Caleb's bunk. The smile was gone.
The melody. I want it on paper, every note. Bring it to me by dawn.
She knows. Or she suspects. There's no escape from this.
The next morning, while Vane drilled the squad, Caleb slipped into the old man's quarters. The scrap lay folded in a cracked leather pouch. He took it. The paper felt heavier than any blade. In the command room, Saren smoothed the scrap on the table. The notes were ancient, unfamiliar.
These aren't battle hymns. This is something else. Something meant to deactivate.
Vane returned to his quarters that evening. The pouch was open, the scrap gone. His blood ran cold.
It can't be coincidence. The rat found the real poison. Now they'll either kill it or use it.
He stood in the empty dark, the silence of the room screaming louder than any alarm. Before dawn, guards dragged him to the command room. Dre and Saren waited beside the stolen scrap.
You've been teaching them a song. Explain it now.
They don't know what it does. They're fishing. Keep the hook shallow.
We have the notes. We can test it ourselves. Tell us, or we'll test it on you.
When he said nothing, Dre's fist answered. The first blow split his lip.
You think silence protects them? If your training fails, they all hang, and you'll watch.
They struck him again and again. The melody's secret stayed locked behind broken ribs.
Enough. Let the fool bleed. He'll remember this when his orphans scream in the nest.
They left him on the cold stone, but through the pain, a single thought crystallized. He had to get them to the nest before the marshals understood the music's power.
Every hour that passes, they're closer to unraveling it. We march at dawn, no matter the cost.
Lyra found him on the floor, blood drying in the cracks of his lips. He waved off her help and pulled her close.
Who did this? You can barely stand.
The marshals. But listen, the nest's guardian is a war machine from a dead age. The melody deactivates it. Armor wakes it. It's an execution ground. They send unwanted soldiers to die there. The marshals need you dead to bury the secret.
A machine. An execution ground. We're just bodies to silence. Then we won't be silent. I'll lead the squad. Hum until that thing sleeps. If the marshals try to stop us, they'll learn what orphans are made of.
Outside the cracked door, Caleb froze. He'd only meant to check on Vane, but the truth was a knife in his chest.
She knows. If I tell Saren, they'll be dead by dawn. If I stay quiet, I am a traitor twice over.
By the time he slipped away, Lyra was already gathering Tomas and the others, her voice low and sharp as a blade. The squad moved in the dark, packing supplies, their humming now a weapon. None of them noticed Caleb's shadow missing from the bunks. Caleb slipped into the command room. The stolen melody scrap still lay on the table. He couldn't meet Saren's eyes.
I heard him. Vane told Lyra, the Guardian is a machine. The melody deactivates it.
So the deserter's lullaby was a weapon. The orphans know they cannot reach the nest.
By order of command, the expedition is cancelled. Arrest Vane and lock down the barracks.
Torches flared in the yard. Guards flooded the barracks, dragging the squad from their bunks, their practiced humming cut short. They threw Vane to the dirt, chains biting his wrists and throat. Lyra and Tomas were forced to their knees to watch.
The melody. Hum it until the echo answers.
A guard slammed his club into Vane's ribs. The old man crumpled, still mouthing the notes as they dragged him toward the cells.
He shouted it so we'd hear. The melody is our last weapon. He's given us away, even from a cell. We remember.
In the cold cell, Vane tasted blood. A faint note drifted through the bars, the squad humming in the dark. Alone in the dark, Lyra's fury finally broke through the numbness. His secrets had stolen their choices, left them chained.
All those lies, and we're still waiting to die. I trusted him, and now we're locked up like animals.
A gloved hand slid through the barred window, pressing a sweat-damp scrap into her palm before vanishing into the shadows. The scrap was his, the melody notes smeared with dried blood, scrawled beneath. "They'll kill you before you can sing it. Don't stop until the echo answers."
He's still fighting. Even from a cell, he's pushing us forward. This isn't just a song, it's a command. Tomas, we're going to the nest. Tonight. The melody is all we have, and they'll kill us if we wait.
How? The guards are everywhere. They'll cut us down before we reach the gate.
Remember the drill? Silent as breath, quick as a hum. We don't need swords, just this melody, and the dark.
Through the long hours before dawn, whispers wove through the barred doors. Not a plan, but a silent promise.
They'll try to silence us, but we won't stop. The echo will answer.
The lock gave with a whisper of worn metal. Hours of practice had taught them to move like ghosts.
Stay low, no noise. The gate is the only way out, and it's 50 paces through open ground.
But the gate guard stirred. A scuffle, a muffled cry, and then only the sound of their own breathing. By the time the alarm bell rang, the squad was halfway to the fog line, the nest's black peak cutting the dawn sky.
The orphans escaped. No matter. They're running to their deaths. Commander, take riders and cut them off.
And drag Vane to the wall. Let him watch his precious orphans scream.
Chains cutting his wrists, Vane was hauled up the watchtower steps. The cold dawn wind cut through his rags.
Run faster. The melody is your only shield. Don't stop until the echo answers, Lyra.
Below, the squad reached the fog line. Their silhouettes stretched thin, then blurred into the gray.
They're gone. Now only the mist and the machine.
The fog thinned as the nest's dark mouth gaped before them. The only way was in. Inside, the air was cold and dead, heavy with the scent of old iron. No dragon ever lived here. At the cavern's center, the machine loomed, a giant of rust and silence, its limbs folded like a praying mantis.
There it is! Just as Vane said. Start the melody. Now, before it wakes. The notes on the scrap are smeared, but the shape is in my throat. Don't falter.
Her hum rose, thin and wavering. The others joined, a fragile thread of sound weaving through the dark, a tremor. Deep in the machine, a red light flickered. A sound like grinding bones filled the cavern.
It's waking. Keep humming. Don't stop.
The melody grew stronger. 6 voices now, but the machine's eye blazed brighter, scanning the dark like a predator. Then, from the entrance, a cold voice cut through. Surrender, orphans, or die with your song. The machine uncoiled from the stone. Ancient joints screamed, and its weapon arms unfolded, dripping rust and old death. The melody rose against the screech of waking metal, a thread of hope stretching thinner with every note.
Silence them. Cut down any who keep singing.
Lyra, keep the melody. I'll hold them.
A blade caught Tomas across the shoulder. He fell, blood darkening the stone, his note dying in his throat.
No, don't stop. The melody is our only shield.
The machine heard the break. Its massive arm swept across the cavern, sending orphans diving for cover.
Tomas, Caleb, where are you? We have to regroup.
They're scattered. Finish them, one by one. The melody dies here.
In the red-lit dark, the melody was scattered, a broken song, waiting for a voice to mend it. From the marshal's line, a figure broke. Caleb, scrambling over debris, screaming Lyra's name as if it could undo everything. He reached her as the machine's arms swept past. Without hesitation, he joined the hum, a perfect note. The melody snapped into focus. The war machine shuddered, its grinding arms slowing as if caught in amber.
He's humming with us. After all the betrayal, he chose this.
A traitor twice over. You think a song buys redemption, then die singing.
The bolt flew before her words faded, a cold line through the dust. It struck Caleb in the chest. His hum shattered into a gasp, and he fell.
Don't stop the song.
Lyra knelt, but his eyes were already empty. She lifted her voice, the melody trembling with grief.
The machine's core flickered, its red eye dimming, but not yet dark. The echo lingered, waiting.
Enough of this pathetic song. Cut them down. No mercy, no prisoners.
The melody twisted the machine's ancient purpose. It turned on the marshals, crushing 2 soldiers under a rusted arm. The cavern filled with screams as the marshals scattered, their own execution ground devouring them.
Hold the line, you dogs. That machine is blind. Advance and silence that cursed hum.
Through blood and dust, the orphans kept humming. Tomas on his knees, voice cracking under the weight of pain.
Don't stop, Tomas. It's turning. The melody is our only sword now.
A martial soldier dropped his blade, backing into the shadows, his face a mask of terror and doubt.
Pick up your weapon, or I'll cut you down myself.
Caleb's blood is still warm on the stone. I won't let his song die.
The hum rose, and the machine's eye dimmed to a faint ember. But the giant still clawed blindly, a dying beast refusing the dark. The blood-stained scrap in Lyra's belt seemed to burn. Her memory seized the lost notes, and the melody sharpened like a blade. Lyra's hum sliced through the chaos. The orphans matched her pitch, their grief forging a single, unbroken tone. The machine's eyes strobed, red, then blue, then a rapid, dying white. Its limbs shuddered to a halt. Dre seized a fallen crossbow and fired at a glowing panel on the machine's torso. Sparks erupted, and the ancient circuit screamed. The machine convulsed with new fury, its eye blazing crimson again. It rose on buckling legs, a final death throw aimed at Lyra. Lyra saw the giant arm sweeping toward her. She did not run. She lifted her chin and poured the last of her breath into the melody. Tomas screamed her name, but the machine's screech drowned all sound. The melody held, a fragile shield between her and annihilation. The rusted claw descended through dust and firelight, a falling sky.
Caleb, I feel your voice still. Don't let it end yet.
The claw stopped a breath from her face. The machine's shadow swallowed her whole. But the melody did not stop. In the shadow of the frozen claw, Tomas hurled himself forward, shoving Lyra clear and filling his lungs with dust and song. The last note left his lips. The machine's roar died mid-screech. Its joints slackened, and the red eye faded to cold glass. Silence swallowed the cavern. Then, the sound of swords clattering to the stone. A young soldier, the one who had dropped his blade before, stepped forward. There under arrest, by the old law, commanding murder in a sacred nest. Saren's cold mask finally shattered, her eyes darting for an escape that didn't exist. Dre spat curses, but rough hands twisted his wrists behind him. On the high wall, Vane's chains clinked as he leaned into the wind. A distant note, thin but true, slipped through the fog. It rose, not as a battle cry, but as a lullaby. The echo had answered. Inside the nest, Lyra knelt beside Tomas, his chest still heaving. Around them, the fallen machine lay like a dead god.
Is it over? Did the echo make it?
It's over. Vane heard it. I know he did.
Through the thinning fog, Lyra emerged. In her arms, Caleb's body, lighter than the guilt she would carry. She climbed the watchtower, burdened not just by the dead, but by the truth she now held. Vane's chains clinked as he turned to face her.
She held out the blood-stained scrap. You gave me this to save us. Now I am giving it back. The truth, Vane.
Vane's face crumpled. The chains pulled tight as his knees gave out.
I ran. 30 years ago, I ran because the machines scared me more than death. I left my squad. I've been a coward ever since.
You were a coward, but you came back. You gave us a weapon they couldn't take. That's not nothing. She gestured at Caleb's still form. He betrayed us, and he died singing. You taught us that song.
The messenger arrived as dawn broke. By order of the council, Vane's chains were struck. The truth of the nest was no longer a secret across the core. The story spread. The nest was never sacred. It was an execution ground, and the marshals had known for decades. The Orphans' melody had unmade a lie.
What now?
I don't know, but I am not running anymore.
In the quiet that followed, Vane walked back into the nest alone. The dormant machine waited, a cold monument to his shame.
30 years clawing at my throat, and this silence is the loudest thing I've ever heard.
He hummed the melody one last time, not as a weapon, but as a goodbye. He pressed the blood-stained scrap into a seam of the machine's base. The paper, his guilt, his redemption, all left behind. A memory surfaced. A young soldier in ancient ruins, tracing carved notes on a broken tablet, hearing the melody for the first time. Lyra found him there, her shadow stretching beside the fallen giant. She didn't speak. She just stood beside him.
I am leaving the Corps. They don't need a deserter's ghost. The living have the melody now.
You are no ghost. You are the one who taught us to sing. Wherever you go, the echo will remember.
Vane walked out of the nest into a world that no longer needed him, but would never forget. For the first time in 30 years, his footsteps didn't feel like running. The mist swallowed him slowly. First, the edges of his coat, then the gray of his hair, then the shape that had been Vane. On the wall, Lyra watched until the fog erased him completely. Her fingers traced the melody on the cold stone.
He was never a deserter, just a survivor who carried too much.
Far below, A single note rose not from the nest, but from the heart of the fog, the echo carrying on. In the fog, Vane allowed himself a faint smile. The guilt had finally let go of his lungs. The path ahead was uncertain, but for the first time, he didn't need to know where it led. Back at the nest, Tomas limped to Lyra's side, his arm in a sling, his voice rough. "He's really gone?"
Gone from here, but not from the song. We'll teach it to every recruit, every orphan. The melody won't fade.
Tomas looked at the rising sun, the fog beginning to burn away. Then he's not really gone at all. And somewhere in the thinning mist, a single note answered. The training grounds never fell silent again. New recruits learned old forms, their humming a constant under the sun.
This melody isn't a weapon. It's the sound we make when we choose to live. Learn it, and you'll never face the dark alone.
And remember, every note carries a name. The ones who sang before us, they're in the echo.
In the high vaulted chamber, the last dragon eggs rested in warmth, guarded not by fear, but by the lullaby that had saved them. A statue rose in the yard, not of marshals, but of orphans and old soldiers. Vane's fallen squad, Caleb among them, the blood-stained scrap, now framed under glass in the core hall, bore a simple plaque, "The Echo Answers."
He left it behind, so we'd always have the key, not to a machine, to ourselves.
Across the reformed core, the melody became the first lesson. Not a lullaby of war, but a song of hope.
Do you think he hears us out there somewhere?
The echo always answers.
In the core hall, the framed scrap held no names, only a melody that had toppled tyrants. Outside, the last of the mist burned away. The nest stood silent, its secret no longer a weapon. Far from the wall, a lone figure walked, an old man with no chains, carrying nothing but a song. The world did not heal overnight, but it began one hum at a time. In the silence that followed, the echo remained, a thread connecting the dead to the living. And so the old deserter's legacy became the new cadence of the core. Someone had scratched a final line into the stone beneath the frame. The wind caught the distant hum and carried it over the wall. Into the waiting world, a captain of orphans once whispered, "The echo always answers." The melody proved her right, and in the clearing mist, a single note answered, fading gently into the silence where all songs rest.